everyone, this is Marco and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing a very quick review of the new Hammond collection Velociraptor blue figure, but the main focus about this video is swapping out that old head with a new replacement part that Siritek and I designed. But let's start by looking at the box. So the box is the classic Hammond collection box design. It's got that clean dark look with the black packaging. It's got the Hammond collection logos and the Jurassic logo as well. There's a nice window on the front of the box with a pretty poor render of the Velociraptor blue figure on the front. It doesn't look very good. It looks very photoshopped. The back of the box is same as usual. This time we have a little bit of foliage at the top with the render of the figure overlapped this fake terrain. There's a description and some pictures of the other releases. So taking the figure out of the box, we can instantly tell that this is a reworked sculpt from the previous Raptor releases. And thank goodness, because those Raptors were absolutely hideous. But this one is a much needed improvement. Everything on it is much better. It's got a brand new body sculpt with reworked proportions. We got smaller feet, a longer tail, actually I should say a much longer tail, which is amazing, and a brand new head. The original Hammond collection Raptors had blue sculpt, but Mattel decided to re-sculpt blue anyway, which is odd, but it looks a lot better, so that's good. But the head isn't perfect. It's got a very badly designed jaw hinge, and you can barely see those eyes. Another really odd decision was for Mattel to put the blue stripe on the thigh itself. We have never seen that before with any Mattel release prior to this one, and they've all been accurate, but for this premium collector's figure, they decided to change that. Now the problem with this is that you can't pose it without the stripe being broken apart and looking weird. Also, a lot of people don't like that the jaw is so bright. The jaw should be about the same color as the rest of the body. Maybe with a very subtle hint of counter shading, but definitely not this obvious. Now, taking a look at that jaw hinge, they took a very generic joint that they use for almost every point of articulation for this figure and just slapped it on the mouth. For the mainline Raptors, they designed a proper custom hinge. Why do a custom jaw hinge for a kid's toy but not for the premium collector's figure? I just don't get that. So I designed this brand new head to have a very similar jaw hinge to the mainline one. The sculpt is a lot more accurate on this new head. The eyes look much nicer too, so let's just get rid of this old one and put the new one on. First of all, we need to heat up the plastic. You can use some boiling water or a hairdryer. In this case, I used a hairdryer for about a minute. The plastic is now nice and soft, and it makes removing the old head a lot easier. It comes right off like that with a satisfying pop. So now the old head is off, we can assemble the replacement head. It comes in different parts. It comes with a neck piece, the jaw piece, the head piece, and the eyes. This is how the jaw hinge works. Now let's see how to insert the eyes. You grab the eye piece and you slide it into the back of the head like this, and it just pops in place. We will glue this part in later. So Siritek and I designed two different heads. The one on the left is based on Blue and Echo, and the one on the right is based on Charlie and Delta. For this custom, we'll be using the first variant. You might have noticed that Siritek has pigmented these parts to perfection. All we have to do now is paint in the rest. Before assembly, I recommend you paint the inside of the mouth. I color matched the inside of the mouth and started painting. The first thing I painted was the tongue. Then the side jaw muscles, like so. But before painting the inside of the mouth on the head piece, I recommend you glue the eye piece in first. Then you can move on to painting the mouth too. If you glue the eyepiece in first, it'll prevent it from moving around when painting the mouth inside. Next, we can paint the remaining throat piece on the neck. Next, I painted the teeth. I mixed some off-white. I just grabbed some white and mixed it in with some yellow. You want to be doing this with acrylic paints. And I painted the teeth on the top jaw and on the bottom jaw. I recommend using a very fine paintbrush for this step. At this stage, I recommend doing the stripe on the body. I wouldn't assemble anything yet because we'll be using some isopropyl alcohol or IPA, and we don't want to risk damaging the new head. So I grabbed some cotton buds or cotton swabs, dipped it in the alcohol and just rubbed the stripe away. I also used an old toothbrush, that works like a charm. So one side is nice and clean, let's clean the other side too. And this is what it looks like without the stripe there. I erased the stripe about midway down the torso. I also erased the stripe about halfway down the tail too. At this point I'm assembling the rest of the head. I inserted the jaw piece and then grabbed some super glue. I applied a dot of super glue on that area of the neck piece. I used a toothpick to spread the glue around. I then firmly but gently held the two parts together until the glue gripped and waited until it was completely set. Now the head is ready to be put on the body. Notice that round hole in the neck? We need to align that hole on the peg on the neck and then press quite hard. As you can see, everything articulates just as well, and now we can proceed to the final step, which is painting the stripe. First I mixed some blue and applied it on the head on one side and then on the other side, carefully copying the reference material. I used the Jurassic World Dinosaur Style Guide. I recommend you use that as guidance too, as blue stripe is different on each side of the head. I also went over the existing stripe and painted in the rest of the stripe too, on the hip, above the leg piece, as it should have been all along. I then continued the stripe down the tail. I then mixed some light grey and very carefully painted the outline of the blue stripes. I held my breath throughout this whole stage and I'm surprised I didn't pass out. Again, make sure you use the finest brushes that you have. Also, I suggest to water down the acrylic paint a little bit too. It makes applying it onto the figure quite a bit easier. I also decided to add a tiny bit of counter shading on the bottom jaw. Unfortunately, I forgot to record this step. You can easily color match the underside of the body, paint the neck piece in a little bit, and just kind of stretch the color on the jaw a little bit too. I also suggest you use some clear gloss lacquer on the inside of the mouth, which makes it look nice and shiny. And with that, folks, this custom is finished. And this is what it looks like. Here are the two figures compared, the original version with the modified version. I'm really happy with how this modified version looks. It does look generally a lot nicer and it is a lot more screen accurate too. It is extremely nice to finally see Mattel fix the clown feet issue and the short tails. This brand new Raptor sculpt is leaps and bounds better, which in all fairness is very easy to do compared to the previous Raptors. So it is absolutely amazing that Mattel is listening to our criticism, but this figure still isn't perfect. I wish Mattel would fix the jaw hinge articulation issue and the wide hips. They seem to have fixed that with the larger figures. They just need to put a bit more effort into the smaller ones too. I'm really excited about the future of this line as it seems to be getting better and better. Thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.
I would like to give a massive thank you to all of my Patreons. Seriously guys, your support really does mean the world to me as it helps me do what I love for you. You help me buy materials and most of all, you give me a helping hand with improving the quality of the content of my videos. Even if it's just a small donation, every little helps.